Help us change the culture by buying our latest single from Timcast Records, Only Ever Wanted, by clicking the link in the description below. Here's the first story.
Oh my.
The reason this story is important because Gavin McInnes may have been arrested. We don't know. The Daily Dot, who likely just hates Gavin, writes, was Proud Boys founder Gavin McInnes actually arrested following his live stream? Well, I believe it's Bettridge's Law. Is that it? You want someone fact check me on this one?
Never heard of
Bettridge's Law of headlines. If a headline asks a question, the answer is no.
That's correct. Yeah, I have heard that.
Is it Betteridge?
I don't know. I gotta look up the exact
What do we got?
So much fast typing in this
Yeah,
room
come
right
on,
now.
guys.
Betteridge's Law of Headlines.
Boom.
Yeah.
I can't believe I remembered that properly. I'm always mixing it up.
It was Betteridge.
So here's what happens. There's this video of Gavin. He's doing his show. I think we can play this.
Named after Ian Betteridge, by
Oh,
the way.
hey.
Really, an Ian.
time
British
to shine.
technology journalist.
So here's Gavin McInnes.
We're shooting a show. Can we do this another time?
And then he gets up and he like doesn't say anything for a little while, and then it's really quiet because he's away from the mic. He says, "Let's see, when's he going to say it? I think we got to jump ahead."
We'll sit down and have a conversation. We'll schedule a meeting, and we'll sit down with my lawyer.
Yeah, he says we'll schedule a meeting. We'll sit down with my lawyer. Now I'll say this: a lot of people are like, it's got to be the feds because I think it was Will Carlos, this journalist, called the local police and they're like, we did not arrest him, and there's been no announcements by law enforcement or anything about a possible arrest. Who knows what's happening?
Is he in the U.S. or Canada?
He's in New York.
US.
this is the kind of thing where law enforcement, I believe they would make a big headline out of this if
I don't
they
think so.
arrested Gavin.
No, that's a privacy violation. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't just arbitrarily announce we have arrested this man.
But with Trump, they were like, we went into Mar-a-Lago. Wasn't that a big...
No, he
It was
was the
Trump,
one who announced
yes.
they went to Mar-a-Lago.
And with Roger Stone, they tipped off CNN.
That's
so
right.
it depends on what the police government wants to happen.
I don't know what to think of this because Gavin's a master troll. Like the Proud Boys is a master troll. He
is.
set that group up as a troll, but I don't want to say that if he actually got arrested because that's
I don't care who you are. I'm even the boy who cried wolf in a circumstance like this. I'm not going to start by assuming you faked some kind of arrest or something. And you got to understand too in this clip. He didn't even say he was getting arrested. He just left the show in the middle of the show. For all we know, when he was pulling into his driveway, he scratched his neighbor. He bumped his neighbor's car, and they called the cops. And he's doing a show, and the cop shows up, and then they said like, "You hit that car. You got to come out." And he's like, "I'll get a lawyer." Like it could have been something as innocuous as that. And then they were like, "No, you're coming out now." And then the show goes off the air because he's outside and he's like arguing with people and exchanging information, and they're yelling at him. Who knows?
Did they leave the show running after that?
Yeah, they left it running. So Josh Denny, who is associated with Gavin McInnes and Censored.tv, says, just got off the phone with our people. It's not a bit. Gavin was against going to January 6th. He was against Charlottesville and told Proud Boys they were out of the club if they went, but he's rotting away in jail because he dared to question authority.
Oh, wow.
You know, I kind of feel like it's hard to believe. What do you think?
I don't think it's hard to believe that Gavin is against January 6th. I think
No,
that's
no,
well publicized. I think
getting arrested. I know he's against January 6th because he said
I'm where to comment on this. There's a part of the video where he says, I didn't let you in here.
Right.
And I don't know a ton about Gavin's studio, but I think that's significant. That either means that they felt like they had a reason to enter, and I assume that means they were serving an arrest warrant.
Yeah.
It's hard not to see it
That's a
that
good
way. I don't think that he's been silent ever since, so that's also significant. I think I think his company or he would address it in some way if everything were fine, if that makes sense. I think the fact that we are not hearing anything, the longer it goes on, becomes increasingly more suspicious.
Will Carlos said, trying to confirm what's up with Gavin McInnes abruptly leaving his show last night in the middle of his live stream. A colleague of his tweeted McInnes was hauled off by the feds, but no charges filed on Pacer or press releases from DOJ, FBI, so reserving judgment. Fair point. I don't know. Because, Ian, you mentioned it. He's a master troll. He certainly is. But I will say, Scott Adams, remember what he tweeted July 1st, 2020?
Yeah, I do.
What
I remember
did
it.
he say?
He said Republicans will be hunted. Everyone made fun of him.
And then it was 2 months later that Aaron Danielson took two to the chest from a Black Lives Matter activist with a BLM tattoo on his neck.
Someone was just insinuating that MAGA Republicans were dangerous. MAGA Republicans, but it was like they specified this. These MAGA. Who was that? It was on Twitter. I think it was today even. Was it a politician
MAGA Republicans? It was Biden, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Might have been
Biden. was saying
Biden
that.
said,
Yeah,
I
he
don't
did.
like these guys.
It's hilarious that I don't remember who it was when he talks because it's that.
Yeah,
It's
so
like who was that guy?
forgettable.
Have you guys seen the
The
trailer
older
for,
man who keeps just rambling.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you guys seen the trailer for My Son Hunter?
Oh gosh,
No.
no.
Yeah,
movie?
not a trailer. I
saw,
just saw it exists.
I saw the trailer. It looks really good. Gina Carano's in it.
Oh, cool.
But my only issue with it is that it makes Joe Biden look very strong and confident.
Incorrect.
Inaccurate.
Yeah, because like he's like there's like a scene where he confronts Hunter and he's like, "What did you do?" And then I'm like, "Joe," he be going like, "Come on, man, you crack pipe, corn pop."
What are you doing to me, man?
Unless the angle they're going with is that it's all an act, so that his enemies think he's a fumbling, bumbling. You know, look, people are like, I'll put it this way: conservatives are acting like Joe Biden's not really the one making all these moves. So he's sort of getting the blame deflected off of himself by being this way. So imagine he's actually totally lucid and strong, and he's like, listen here, champ. I just made a bunch of moves, guy. Look fat. I'm the one taking the economy, but I'm not going to take the blame for it. Watch how I pull this one off. What? Economy?
That's the theory. Ronald Reagan, apparently, when he was leaving office, he had Alzheimer's. That's the story. But some people think that he had been embroiled in some corruption and it was coming out. And then he started saying, like, I can't remember. I don't remember. And his memory started to fail him all of a sudden. And then he was off the hook.
Yeah, they're going to be like, so the Republicans are going to win. They're going to file investigations, win in November. And then they're going to subpoena Joe Biden. And he's going to be like, I did what? And you're going to be like, Mr. President, you had a conversation with the president of Ukraine about $1 billion loan guarantee. $1 billion bone guarantee? What?
Who bought? What, like
Come
a
on, man.
dinosaur
I
bone?
mean, there were all these stories about like this is starting to seem like elder abuse. Like I think everyone was saying like he seems so out of it that it's almost cruel to force him to do this. I don't necessarily agree, but like in some ways I wondered if that story was to set him up for like sympathy from the American public should anyone ever try to prosecute him in the future, because it's like, well, he wasn't well then and he's even worse now. Like we always just give him the excuse that he's like old and decrepit, even though he was this way when we elected him.
Maybe he is being controlled by somebody else and he's just a puppet. Maybe he's secretly strong. Either way, you've got a conspiracy theory on your hands. But this is what I want to get to. If this Gavin McInnes thing turns out to not be a hoax and he was actually detained for some reason, then the fact that information's been withheld and that he would be in jail is actually really, really terrifying, which is why it's like, it'd be really awful if it was a stunt or some kind of prank or something. He might come back and be like, I didn't prank anybody. You know, I got into an argument with a neighbor and then we canceled the show and then everyone started claiming I was arrested. Like, what happened? You know, for all we know, it could be like that. But considering that the president just got his house raided and the reasoning behind it seems to be completely like fraudulent and corrupt, in my opinion. These are scary days. You know, like I mentioned, Scott Adams said Republicans will be hunted. He did say you'll be dead by this time next year, or something like that.
Hyperbolic.
Like, I don't know. But a couple months later, dude was shot and killed for just being a Trump supporter. So it's like,
I guess he was right for somebody.
And if you mean it in like the unpersoning way, like if you ban people from platforms that are mainstream and you cut them off from society, you're not literally dead, but you are. Your influence is over, if that makes sense. That's what I think more people, the attempt is with most people who have like MAGA ideology. They don't want them to have any sort of influence over politics. So if they can shuffle them as far into the dark parts of the internet as they can and be like, oh, they're extremists, you know, that's the ideal scenario.
So let me start by saying I'm really excited for November. You know, people pointed out that New York 19 was supposed to go Republican, but it stayed Democrat, so that's a bad sign. Mm-hmm. But then someone else pointed out that the Democrats won that district by 12 points. They just won it again by 2, which suggests a major swing in favor of Republicans. So I just want to make sure everybody's got that little optimism in their minds. And I will also add, too, on the culture front, we released a song. It's got 450,000 hits, probably like more than that across the platforms. So like things are going really well. Like I'm feeling pretty good.
Daily Wire is hiring Disney CMO, like the marketing person,
you know,
right?
like I think we're doing really well.
Yeah,
and every day, the cult seems to just falter and fail and stumble. That being said, in their desperation, you will see the death throes and the death rattles. So going after Donald Trump's home, raiding it, Gavin McInnes may be being raided or arrested. I don't know.
Desperation.
Yeah, but desperation. Project Veritas getting raided. And now we got the story in the New York Times about these people selling the diary, Ashley Biden's diary, to James. And it sounds like they're going to try and go after Veritas. We may be winning, but of course, no one in the culture war is going to just give up, right?
Yeah.
So if freedom, liberty, moderation, libertarianism, conservative values, American values, all of these things, which don't completely agree with each other, but have this coalition start winning, are we about to see a dramatic escalation in corrupt law enforcement and political, authoritarianism?
Well, surely they're going to be held accountable after the next couple of months.
And they can't allow that.
I mean, when a cornered animal lashes out, in its last desperate move, that's when the Republicans have the advantage of typically they are the party of inaction, I would say. And in this case, inaction is probably the best thing to do.
Really?
They're being provoked into do something, make a mistake. But actually, just by sitting and waiting until November, that's probably the best move for most of the center and the right. Go tell all your family members to vote and go vote yourself. Replace all the jerks. And then hopefully the representatives who are elected are going to be able to clean up instead of trying to seize the ring of power for themselves, and then the corruption spreads, but it comes from the right now.
I gotta give an amazing white pill moment for everybody. I was laughing with such joy earlier today. So I tweeted out that YouTube changed their rules.
Right.
I did this big long thing because YouTube removed the rule saying you can't claim that masks cause lung cancer and that masks, a whole bunch of claims. The most absurd of which was that YouTube now allows people to claim that masks cause lung cancer, which is
Weird.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And so I did this big thing of all the rules, right? But one of them was about the efficacy of the vaccines. And Marjorie Taylor Greene quote tweeted me and said, so in other words, allowing some truth, something like that. She was not endorsing any of the stuff. A bunch of outlets wrote articles claiming Marjorie Taylor Greene endorses idea that masks cause lung cancer. And then I just busted out laughing.
What the heck?
She certainly did not. She was making a comment about reduction in censorship, some of which these things are actually asserted by the CDC. She did not say masks do this.
No, it's like saying there's some good people in the United States and people being like, oh, you think murderers are good people.
Exactly.
It's that joke of I like pancakes.
Yeah.
Are you saying you hate
exactly.
waffles?
Yes.
Yes. So I just laughed. I'm like, this is all they have. This is what the media has now. They're so desperate.
It's a taunt.
They're scraping at the bottom of the barrel so hard, they've started pulling up wood chips.
Yeah, and the timing is right after she's been swatted, twice? So they're like, no sympathy points for her. She thinks masks make you have lung cancer. Stay away from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, it's so desperate what they're doing.
There's another fake meme where they're like, Marjorie Taylor Greene was talking about solar energy and claimed that you would lose electricity at night. And she said, I don't know about you, but I like having the lights on at night. And then all these leftists are mocking her. And I'm like, are you joking? She's right. Solar panels don't work at night. Mm-hmm. And so the issue is with solar power as a grid feature is that you need massive battery technology that we don't actually have. And so that's why solar works great supplemented by natural gas. Was that her point? Because that's actually correct. But they snip out one weird sounding thing. Anyway, the reason I bring that up as a white pill thing, when we're talking about winning in November, G Prime, he just mentioned, George, he said, get your family, go vote. Marjorie,
friends, everybody you know.
Everybody you know. When Marjorie Taylor Greene is winning and she's like raising more money than anybody else, and then we see a whole bunch of MAGA Republicans that they hate so much winning, Carrie Lake sweeping every district in Arizona. Arizona's been slowly turning blue because of California and people fleeing California.
Yeah,
Carrie Lake still swept every district.
It's that border. That border's
I'm
crazy.
saying, after everything I've seen this year, Trump's endorsement record is like 99% success.
Crazy.
I'm ready to order a bunch of nachos, sit back, grab some beers, and be like, "This is good news, everybody."
Some organic
just
tortillas,
make sure you don't just rest on these victories. You have to make sure now. When the enemy, when the center has crumpled, you don't just go, "Okay, it crumpled, we can chill." No. Now you take the hilltop. So come November, everybody, you got to get everybody you know, and then finally, if we can get enough of these actual American value politicians in, maybe get some accountability and some
That's a
investigations.
good point. If you really win, which it feels like sometimes I feel like I am winning in life, like this is a victory, so then it's your turn to build. You now have the land. The land is yours. Now you must create something sustainable so that you and your friends can stay. You and your people, your brethren.
It's really red team's game to lose. In sports terms, it's sort of like conservatives in general strategically are hold your ground and play defense. It's hard to go on offense with your shield up. You're stepping forward, holding your ground. But now it's time you have the ball, go towards the end zone. I guess my problem is that I worry that, we grew up, we're all about the age where we remember when the Republicans pushed a little too hard in the early 2000s and stuff. We've seen them go on offense and then make so many mistakes that they make themselves look foolish. And then they get replaced by the left because the left says we want change from these bad policies. I always talk about the Patriot Act and all that stuff. I hate that stuff. And pushing wars and let's go invade everybody. It's like, no, how about we just focus on America for a little while? And that's what this new form of red team is doing. I want to see what happens when they have control of the ball. We've never seen what happens before. Have we? I don't think we have.
Well, how do you see America fitting in with a new world order?
It depends who's in control of America, right? If in the next 2.5 years, Biden's still in control of the executive branch, let's say, or his handlers are still in control. Legislative might lean red. Supreme Court's leaning red now. So I'm guessing it's going to be lame duckish for the next couple of years, maybe, policy-wise. As far as the New World Order is concerned, they might just be planning to do things without America's involvement, would be my guess, because America is kind of crippled as if we have a blue executive branch who won't pass any of the legislation that they write on red team, let's say. We want to pass these bills and Joe Biden's like, no, I'm just not going to pass it. So then it goes to the Supreme Court and then we have more fighting on that front. But as far as what they're trying to push, like what new thing is going to happen in the next 2 years that the liberal world order or whatever, the World Economic Forum, what are they going to try to push in the next couple of years aside from
cryptocurrency as the new digital currency, like dispensing of the dollar,
erosion of human rights in general. I guess we will be watching helplessly as the rest of the world loses their rights and then hoping that we're one of the last countries that can at least openly criticize this stuff.
Yeah, whenever there's a revolution, honestly, I don't think there's ever been a revolution. I was reading about this where the bottom tier of society rose up and took the top. It's always that a top and a bottom aspect of society are replaced by a smaller top and bottom segment of society. So, it's like you can't. Well, that maybe is a little different than the point that you can't really revolt. A system doesn't revolt alone. It's because of outside forces. Like the French won the American Revolution.
Yeah, that'll be very strange if, let's say, there's uprisings throughout America. I was talking about this yesterday. I think they might try to import like private military from other countries to try to be peacekeepers or something. That would be absolutely horrifying. Or maybe we were talking about this offline with those stupid Boston Dynamics robots patrolling down the street, trying to hold the peace in like New York State or something. If there's like weirdos in the woods trying to hold their ground.
I guess, are there peaceful revolutions in history? Like, you guys know of any?
I can't name one off the top of my head. I guess
Peaceful,
they could happen, but
there are a couple examples. I can't remember off the top of my head though.
Iceland threw out the bankers like in 2008. They were like, we're done with central banks. We're taking control of our money.
Didn't Canada just be like, hey, we're gonna go our own way, yo? And they were like, okay, Canada, something like that. Then. I don't know. There have been, but they're extremely rare. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.